I want to answer one of the biggest questions I get when doing the Daniel fast, and that is, can I eat bread? Well, my answer might surprise you. And the answer is maybe. It really all depends on what bread you have. If you are fresh milling your flour, then the answer is absolutely yes. There are many different breads that you can make that will fit perfectly on the Daniel fast. Stay tuned and listen to this entire video because I'm going to share all the different other types of grains that you can use on the Daniel fast that you don't have to have a grain mill for. I have here my favorite recipe. It is my absolute favorite bread that I love to make during the Daniel fast. I actually make it all year round, probably at least once a week. I actually make it so much. This one's from my freezer because I got carried away during one of my bread classes. So this is a super simple recipe. I will link the video on how to make this. Basically, it is water, fresh milled flour, yeast, and salt. My newest favorite trick is to add a little bit of olive oil to help keep it soft. And the shelf life actually lasts longer when you add 2 teaspoons to the recipe. If you have never heard about fresh milling your flour, you are not alone. I'm a dietitian and now I am a biblical wellness ambassador. But in all of my classes, no one once mentioned that you can fresh mill your own flour. The beauty here, this is the hard red wheat. And the grains are incredible. I'm going to put a picture of the mills and how I mill my grains, but these wonderful wheat berries are so full of nutrition. They're actually 40 of the 44 essential nutrients that are in these little wheat berries. Incredible. The really most important part of when you are fresh milling your wheat berries is that the bran and the germ are intact. And that's going to give you your fiber, your B vitamins, and vitamin E, amongst a whole host of other things. You do not get that in any flour or bread sitting in the grocery store. It sadly has been removed. And the lovely part of the fresh milling your own grain is that everything is kept there. You truly are able to eat how God designed your body to eat when you are fresh milling your flour. But hey, I get it. You might not have the opportunity to own a mill right now because it is expensive. You might not have a friend in the neighborhood yet that is fresh milling their flour. So let me share several different ideas that I have for you because the world of grain is quite amazing, especially if you live near a larger city that has so many fun ethnic markets. But of course, you can shop online. And actually, one place that I love to shop is Country Life Foods. Put a link below. I've been shopping there for years. They have great prices on organic grains and lentils, legumes, grains even that you might want to mill. I mean, the list goes on. They have a lot of great items to stock in your pantry, and I highly recommend them. I get from Country Life Foods. This is hulled barley. And interestingly, before I started the Daniel fast, I only used barley in beef and barley soup. I never used it for anything else. My husband actually says he likes the barley better than brown rice. That really surprised me. It's filling, it's yummy. I always add lots of seasonings. Also some mushrooms and onions just to kind of like kick it up a notch. So speaking of barley, here is a new product that I just started using. This is purple barley. It is fairly new on the market here in the United States. I bought it from Palouse Heritage. It's purple Egyptian barley, and there's a little bit of Sonora wheat. It's delicious. I will say it takes a very long time to cook because the hull is intact. Whereas, like this barley that I just showed, the hull is not intact anymore. It is removed, so it's a little faster to cook up. But if you want extra fiber, go for this. Pretty delicious. Other grains, which are amazing to use, of course, brown rice. And on the Daniel fast, you want to stick with brown rice versus white rice. Now, there's a lot of other rices on the market. So I found this amazing blend here. It has purple, red, and brown. So here we have the rice intact. So you're getting all of the yummy, nutritious fiber and lots of flavor. I'm from Minnesota, and wild rice is, I guess it's grown here. But wild rice actually is not a rice. It is considered a grass, so it's a pseudo grain. I still consider it a grain on the Daniel fast, and I will throw in some wild rice. I think it's fun when blending like some barley and the wild rice, just the wonderful texture. And again, I add mushrooms and onions. I do quite often for most dishes, but I think it goes perfectly with the wild rice. So the world of quinoa is full of lots of different varieties. So I just have the regular one here that I have from Costco, which is a white one. I got from a co-op, a lovely, beautiful red. There's black quinoa, there's rainbow quinoa. I've heard there are dozens of different varieties of quinoa. I have a good friend from Peru, and she tells me all about the fun varieties down there. If you're not a quinoa fan, keep trying. And I will also add a tip for the quinoa. It's really, really important that you are washing your quinoa before you're cooking it. The outer part has, I think it's called sapinos. I could be wrong in the pronunciation and even the word, but you want to wash off the outer layer really, truly, like you do for most grains, like all rices. I always do a rinse off and get the dust and anything that is stuck on it. And it helps one for making the cooking time faster, but it also gets rid of some residue that is going to be lingering on those grains. Here is another fun grain called amaranth. I had never tried this until I think my first Daniel fast. Oh my goodness. Look at how incredibly tiny these are. It is minute, way, way, way smaller than the quinoa. You do not want to rinse this. There's no strainer that's going to be small enough in the entire world to be able to withstand it. I have had it hot, like as a rice dish to go with a stir fry, and I also used it as a breakfast with I added fruit on top and probably some cinnamon. I liked it better savory. Now is the time to dig in and try some fun new products. Some other things that you can do is you can actually get the grains, even if you do not have a grain mill, you can cook them up in a wonderful porridge. It's fun to blend them. My co-op now has probably 6 different varieties of grains, and I have my very favorite, which is kamut, also known as corazon. It has like a little buttery note to it. Just cook it up like you would a regular grain. Lovely. I do love Ancient Grains. They're a terrific company. Check them out. They have so many varieties of products. So one thing I haven't noted yet is oats, and I don't know why, because I pretty much eat them every day, most days I should say, on the Daniel fast. They're a great way to start the day. You can buy steel cut oats. If you have a flaker, which I know is an expensive product, but you can flake your own oats. I have a video on the flaker, and I'm going to link that here because fresh flaked oats has so much flavor. And I found that once I switched to flaking my own oats, I was full longer. And I didn't have like blood sugar spikes like I did when I had any other type of oats. Yes, even steel cut oats. Similar concept as the grains when you are milling grains. Within 72 hours of milling them, the nutrients in them start to oxidize and you lose your nutrition. So similar to with the oats, after they're milled, so at the plant, then that clock starts ticking and those nutrients start to degrade. Check out a flaker. They do sell out really fast. I guess they're pretty popular right now. I know that a lot of my neighbors now have a flaker because they talk about it so much. So they were like, what's all the buzz about? And got one. I wrote a list of grains. Let me just run through some others that I did not talk about. So millet, amazing. I love to add millet, especially to my morning muesli. Buckwheat, which actually is a gluten-free product, great for making breads as well as for a nice porridge. Farro is kind of a common one that I will use. It makes a lovely farro salad that I know I add raw onions and parsley. I highly recommend when you are doing the Daniel fast to rotate through your grains because there's a wide variety of nutrition that's available from the different grains. So mix it up. Try some new ones. Maybe you're going to fall in love with a new grain that you didn't even know existed. Walk through the co-op aisle of the like a bulk section and just have fun. My list of things that I love to do with grains. So in a breakfast bowl, having them hot or cold, especially the oats. I love to have cold in the summer. Adding them to soups, salads, mixing with beans in grain bowls, making a veggie burger. That is one of my husband's favorite dinner. It's not my favorite to make because it's quite messy and time consuming, but that's another option. And making pancakes if you have a mill or if you have some grains, like people have like done banana quinoa pancakes. You can get creative. Look at some vegan recipes that are out on Pinterest and have fun exploring some great recipes. I want to let you know that I lead a group through the Daniel Fast twice a year. The next one coming up is this August. We start on August 9th. I would love to have you join. As a dietitian and a biblical wellness ambassador, I am sharing all sorts of culinary tips, nutrition tips, recipes. I'm showing pictures of all the foods I eat. And the Facebook group loves to share what they're doing, successes, challenges, wins, and etc. I love to pray for you and just have community. Those that don't have Facebook, I also have an option where I will send you either a video and or an email every single day so you are in the loop. I get it. I'm not a Facebook fan myself, but hey, it's available, options for you. I also lead a group in January. My favorite time is to do it now in August because the produce prices are so much better than they are any time of year. Come join me. I'll leave that link below. I'm going to go back to grain because, again, you might be saying, I don't have a grain mill. We already talked about, well, maybe your friend does. Or maybe you just want to go and invest in a mill. You won't be sorry. It is really, truly life-changing. I love listening to Sue Becker's podcast. I think it's called It's All About the Grain. Oh, I can't remember. On YouTube. And I love to hear the testimonies where people's guts are healed and whole because they switched to fresh filling flour. So I highly recommend it. In some cities around the United States, they do have mills. Some small bakeries will mill the flour for you and you can take it home. That's a great win. You might be able to find some cottage bakers like myself that will mill the flour for you as well. Another option is to look at this company, Sunrise Flour Mill. I have been buying from them for well over 5 years. When I switched from all-purpose flour to this product, immediately I noticed that my gut was not hurting. I was not having issues with this flour. They have a couple different varieties. One is that they have the pre-milled flour, which they freshly mill on site and ship it to you almost right away. And let me just show you, I pulled this right out of the bag. It is really fine and it works great. It's 1-for-1 for any all-purpose flour recipes. You can use this. But I have to say, once you mill something and the clock starts ticking, so even if they fresh mill it and ship it out even that day or the next day, the nutrients in here are going to be less than fresh milling it. But this is something to do in a pinch. They also do have wheat berries, which I purchased from them now. Those red wheat berries that I showed you before, those are from Sunrise. I'm going to put a 20% discount code for anything that you buy from Sunrise Flour Mill. They're a great company. I highly recommend them. Check them out. They do hard red wheat and soft white wheat, which I get both of those. I always have them in stock in my house. Check them out. Let me know what kind of grains that you love to use on the Daniel Fast. And if there's a recipe that you love to use on the Daniel Fast, or if you're doing a vegan meal, enter it below in the comments so that others can learn from each other. I would just love the community. And if you have any questions about the Daniel Fast Reset group, send me a note. I'd love to have you. Until next time, God bless you and your family greatly.